look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty, miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion, they're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers, while I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, because when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You did it. Use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime. So drop all those one-liners, we'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified, I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning, guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough, no. How long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride and took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown. Just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat, a humble retreat. Check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me, I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees, just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I wanna see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No, come on man, pick your head up. Go back inside, half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief, it starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. Until then, it's your town, it's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around. Go mesmerize, where they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sound. And this moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power and progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless, it's infinite. Don't forget you want this.
What's stopping you? Are you too tired? Didn't get enough sleep? Don't have enough energy? Don't have enough time? Is that what's stopping you right now? Don't have enough money? Is that the thing? Or is the thing that's stopping you, you?
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get off the pity potty. Telling everybody your sad and sob stories, trying to get people to show up to your pity parties and your pity parades. If you ever see me in a Rolls Royce, a 6 or 7 star hotel, living my life to the fullest, don't get jealous of me, because I worked my ass off to get it. Nobody handed me nothing. Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's game on. It's go season. It's time for you to take advantage of the access and the resources that you have in your country and your community. You got a problem with your life. You got a problem with your environment. Do something about it. If you want it, go get it.
Recognize the excuses are not valid.
They're conjured up. They're fabricated. They're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. And the truth is, you have time. You have the skill. You have the knowledge and the support and the willpower and the discipline to get it done.
The fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap, and it's not going to be something that, oh my God, it just was so simple. It's always going to be difficult.
If you want it, you gotta go get it.
This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your place. This is your opportunity.
This is my time. This is my moment. Tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today. It's your dream. If you wanted to have it, get your butt up and make it happen. If you wanted to have it, rise and grind.
You still got work to do. Stay on that basketball court. Stay on that football field. It's grind season, homie.
Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Ted Turner. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as nails. Where does that leave you? I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person.
I don't want to be like that.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong.
In 2010, a 1-ounce gold Kruger Rand cost around 8,000 Rand. Today, in 2020, that same 1-ounce gold Kruger Rand costs over 24,500 Rand. That's a 300% increase in price in 10 years. Is it worthwhile for you to invest in gold? It could be. Find out more information. Get educated. Visit us at thinkgold.co.za for more information or to buy your gold.
Do you remember them days where you thought it was absolutely unbearable and you thought you wasn't going to endure that one? Do you know that your survival rate for every last one of them bad days is 100%? Your track record for surviving bad days is 100%. That's a fact. Your track record, you batting 1,000. You'd have survived every funky day you ever had. You survived every hater. You survived all the evictions. You survived the firings. You survived all the tell you no, we ain't hiring. You survived all the trouble you ever been in. Your survival rate is 100%. 100%.
I'm going to get destroyed. But if I can still be standing on my feet, then life isn't so bad.
Somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. You know what you are. What you're made of. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
The champ is here. 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 The champ.
Good morning and welcome to Bull Market Talk Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and we're doing actually the Federal Reserve, the Jerome Powell that actually gave a historical speech yesterday. Not so much excitement from the market. It's actually quite weird. I expected actually quite more from the market to behave as he was talking about the average inflation yesterday, and he was talking some dovish, some good news that what the Federal Reserve is doing to interact with the people of the United States, and also about average inflation, and also give a brief explanation also about the average inflation concept. Now, what you and I are more interested in is what the hell the market is actually doing, and how they actually take up this new, I would say, policy framework about inflation in the United States. Now, inflation, as we all know, is a bit of in a shambles. They still aiming for the 2% inflation, and he was talking also about the unemployment rate that needs to improve. The unemployment rate needs to get down so that there is spending that goes on, and also you will get inflation, and later on the interest rates will go up. Now, as things stand, it looks like we will not see interest rates anytime soon, until things are actually improving in the United States. Now, for the interest rates to go up, the United States needs some significant amount of inflation. So the Fed chair was talking about, and also other economists and market speculators and market commentators were talking about the 2.5% inflation. So it's not as previously when the inflation or the CPI number is touching 2%, 2.1, 2.2%, and immediately the Federal Reserve will actually lift up interest rates. This looked like they will literally first see, okay, let it sit there, look for more incoming data before they will actually start to lift up the interest rates. Now, very important indicator for traders is actually the personal consumer expenditure. That is actually the inflation number that you need to look at. You need to look at the PCE number, the personal consumption expenditure number for the United States. That is actually the Federal Reserve's inflation indicator, and currently that number is sitting actually very low at about 0.5%, although it's not in negative territory, but it sits on 0.5%. Also, that has a lot to do with the money that the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve stimulus, and also the fiscal spending of the United States government, that actually still keeping up the number, the PCE number, above water, I would say, at 0.5%. So that is actually the key indicator that you need to look at, is actually the PCE number. Now, that number actually never actually reached about 2%. So if they actually do get it right to get that number over 2%, and that is the first time I think in a decade, or maybe in 2 decades, in approximately 14 years, about 2 decades, that number will be over 2.5%. So that is actually one. For me personally, it sounds impossible for the Federal Reserve today that will get a personal consumption expenditure number over 2.5%. So if you look at the market also, the market didn't actually move as what I thought it would move. Yes, the bond yields actually went up, The Dow went slightly up, or the Dow, the Nasdaq stocks, equities around the world, it went slightly up, but not actually in Japan. The market actually went down there. The Nikkei actually went a bit down, which is, for me, is very strange. And then on the other side, the oil prices are not up, and also the gold price actually went down also yesterday. And then you saw the dollar actually went down for about maybe 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, and then you have a sharp reversal up. It was a very strange behavior of the market yesterday, because I was actually thinking, okay, he's going to talk about running the economy hot, get inflation over 2%. That is the aim of the Federal Reserve. And then you would see, first of all, you would see the bond yields climbing, which is actually good. The bond yields actually start to steepen. And then I was thinking, okay, then you will get, if that is the case, if bond yields go up, and then you will see oil prices will go up, you will see the dollar weakened, then you will see also gold prices go up. For some time, the gold price did go up, and then it reversed again. So, and then when the Dow Jones or the New York Stock Exchange or the U.S. market came to a close, excuse me, the Dow Jones actually moved about 100 points up, and at some time it was also in the red. And then you're like, okay, because what we want to know is did the market buy the story of average inflation? But you don't hear anything else from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell by saying, hey, we're going to do also A, B, and C to get actually to that average 2% inflation, or I would say average inflation of above 2%. You don't hear anything else by saying, okay, he will do A, B, and C. He did mention they will use all the tools necessary for them to throw at the market to get that 2% inflation number. So the thing is, did the market buy it in? I don't see that consistent wave or movement in the market where you would see actually gold prices go up, oil prices go up, dollar is down, although the dollar is a bit down today. And also the other currencies went up yesterday. It's understandable. But I didn't see that strong movement of the gold and the oil prices that I can think, okay, our commodities are now really moving up. And that would give more support to the commodity currencies and also to the industrial stocks. I didn't see that, which for me was quite a mixed reaction. Although the euro actually made some good ground, the British pound also moved up, Australian, New Zealand dollar went up. That is actually a good sign based on the steepening of the yield curve. But for me, it was not that move or that movement in the market that was a straight buy thing. For some time, it was actually a buy for all market, maybe for that first 5 minutes. But then the dollar just reversed back up again. But in that instance yesterday, I was thinking, okay, can I go up for a live show? But then when I listened, then I was thinking, hey, and I looked at the market, and I was like, is the market really buying into the story? Or must I wait rather for more information? So I kept my hedges on. I still have it on. Because it for me personally, it looks like the market is not really buying the story. But I will just take a short break, and then I will actually break it down for you why I think that way. And it's a bit of an uncertain period, actually, for the market. I will just take a short break, and then I'll be back with you.
The champ is here! 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 The champ.
Rise and shine. 6 a.m. and your hand can't make it to the alarm clock before the voices in your head start telling you that it's too early, too dark, and too cold to get out of bed. Aching muscles lie still in rebellion, pretending not to hear your brain commanding them to move. A legion of voices are shouting their unanimous permission for you to hit the snooze button and go back to dreamland. But you didn't ask their opinion. The voice you've chosen to listen to is one of defiance. A voice that says there was a reason you set that alarm in the first place. So sit up, put your feet on the floor, and don't look back, because we've got work to do. Welcome to the grind. For what is each day but a series of conflicts between the right way and the easy way? 10,000 streams fan out like a river delta before you, each one promising the path of least resistance. Thing is, you're headed upstream. And when you make that choice, when you decide to turn your back on what's comfortable and safe and what some would call common sense, well, that's day one. From there, it only gets tougher. So just make sure this is something you want, because the easy way out will always be there, ready to wash you away. All you have to do is pick up your feet. But you aren't going to, are you? With each step comes the decision to take another. You're on your way now, but this is no time to dwell on how far you've come. You're in a fight against an opponent you can't see, but oh, you can feel him on your heels, can't you? Feel him breathing down your neck. You know what that is? That's you. Your fears, your doubts, and insecurities all lined up like a firing squad, ready to shoot you out of the sky. But don't lose heart. While they're not easily defeated, they are far from invincible. Remember, this is the grind, the battle royale between you and your mind, your body, and the devil on your shoulder who's telling you that this is just a game. This is just a waste of time. Your opponents are stronger than you. Drown out the voice of uncertainty with the sound of your own heartbeat. Burn away your self-doubt with a fire lit beneath you. Remember what we're fighting for, and never forget that momentum is a cruel mistress. She can turn on a dime with the smallest mistake. She is ever searching for the weak place in your armor, that one tiny thing you forgot to prepare for. So as long as the devil is hiding the details, the question remains, is that all you got? Are you sure? And when the answer is yes, when you've done all you can to prepare yourself for battle, then it's time to go forth and boldly face your enemy, the enemy within. Only now you must take that fight into the open, into hostile territory. You're a lion in a field of lions, all hunting the same elusive prey with a desperate starvation that says victory is the only thing that can keep you alive. So believe that voice that says you can run a little faster, and you can throw a little harder, and that for you, the laws of physics are merely a suggestion. Luck is the last dying wish of those who want to believe that winning can happen by accident. Sweat, on the other hand, is for those who know it's a choice. So decide now, because destiny waits for no man. And when your time comes and 1,000 different voices are trying to tell you you're not ready for it, listen instead to that lone voice of dissent. The one that says you are ready, you are prepared. It's all up to you now. So rise and shine.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Good morning and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and we're doing actually the Federal Reserve today, and also things that I picked up yesterday regarding the statement of the Federal Reserve Chair when he was actually doing his interview, I would say, yesterday, and it was basically a preview of what is about to happen in Jackson Hole in September, which is actually quite a famous platform for central bankers to debate in. and to talk about what they will do with monetary policy, etc., etc. But what I actually picked up yesterday is that he literally gave entrepreneurs and investors the leeway to say, listen here, listen here, I have your back. Take up as much money as you can from the banks and drive up inflation and create jobs. So basically, you will do absolutely nothing. I will not say from now on, unless things deteriorate, he will obviously step up. But what I can pick up because of his average inflation story to say, listen here, there is some money available. You can withdraw. You can actually create businesses. Interest rates will be low, so that will push employment, and obviously you can create jobs and interest rates will be low. So just go ahead. You basically just do what you need to do. I think that is what the Fed chair actually said yesterday, to create a job. So he was actually, for me personally, he was more talking about the job market. That's why he did not touch, or that's why he actually said also in the minutes that interest rates will be low for a very long time, and they will look at overshooting inflation. So there is actually an invite for entrepreneurs to say, hey, listen here, go ahead, I have your back. If things deteriorate, I will just come up with more tools, and so that you can actually just pursue whatever you are doing. I think that was the notion yesterday, and honestly, the dollar actually did get actually slight of a beating yesterday, because obviously he tried to ramp up inflation by actually creating jobs, and hopefully the entrepreneurs will take up the money and just invest it in the United States and starting businesses and all that. So that is what I picked up. So that's why you have the bond yields actually going up yesterday. Just the one thing about the bond yields, and traders must understand that is actually the indicator that I normally look at for the dollar to go up or down, and see what's the conditions in the United States. But just a quick rundown, because there was someone asking me yesterday about the bond yields, and he said he finds it actually difficult to understand. Now, there's an inverse relationship between the bond markets and also the bond prices and also the bond yield. So there's an opposite reaction there. Now, the bond prices is simple, is that people are buying bonds. That is you and I, the government, you and I, the banks and everybody that literally borrow money to the government. So we're buying up bonds. So when we buy bonds, we literally borrowing money to the government or to the municipality. You can also buy municipality bonds. So we're literally buying bonds, and that is actually now you're borrowing the money to the state. Now, when that normally happens, when the market is actually not doing well, that's normally what happens. So people will run there to buy bonds, and that is where bond prices will go up because of demand and supply. All right, because the bonds actually is getting scarce, and that's why the bond prices are going up, because a lot of people are buying it. Normally what happens there is that people take their money out of the stock market, which is more riskier assets, because obviously when things go south in the world, people are taking their money off the stock market and put it into the bond market. So that is why the bond prices are going up, because of the high demand. Now, when the bond prices are going up, all right, so the bond prices are going up, so that means that a lot of investors are flocking to the United States. And that means that the bond yield, because it moves in the opposite direction, the bond yield is going down. So, which means when the bond yields are going down, things are not so good. All right. So the bond yields is normally, when the bond yields actually goes down, it means that the stock market are going down. The bond prices, obviously, because there's turmoil in the world, the bond prices goes up. Bond yields go down, and that is where your stock market also go down. And because of the bond prices that goes up, the dollar goes up. So that is actually what is the whole story of the bonds of the bond yields and the bond prices. Now, when the bond yields actually goes up, which is the story of yesterday, and I saw actually it's still going up, that means that the people are taking their money out of the bond market. So they're going for more risky assets, which is now for your stock markets and your oil companies and buy houses or whatever. They're going into the market. So that's why they are not buying bonds anymore. So that's why the bond prices are going down and your bond yields actually go up, because that means that people are taking the money out of the bond market and basically put the money into riskier assets, which is your stock. So that's why you have your bond yields go up. Now, normally what I know, when your bond yields is going up, which is now the story of today, when the bond yields are going up, then normally your dollar goes down, your gold prices go up, oil prices go up. So it's literally a buy for all market when your bond yields are going up. So that is what Japan is doing now for the last targeting bond yields. So they want to steepen the bond yields. So which means that the Bank of Japan, which is the situation in Japan, the Bank of Japan is literally buying up government bonds. All right. So they're trying now basically what happens in Japan is that they try to control that bond yield to try to get it steeper. So basically, it is actually a very weird situation in Japan because they just can't get that yield steeper. So they're throwing money all over the show in the Japan to try and get that bond yield up, which is actually very strange, but it doesn't work. And obviously, that is what the United States have still in their toolkit to try and control the bond yield. And I don't think that will ever work in Japan. But the situation in United States today is that the bond yield is actually going up, so which means we will see a softer dollar. That it means that we will get the inflation expectations to go up. That is what we hope for, or what the Federal Reserve is hoping for. That inflation will go up so that the GDP can grow and there's jobs that is actually going up. So basically, that is what the Fed chair was doing yesterday. And also, he was talking in a dovish tone. And I think the dovish tone will also be going forward for the United States and the Federal Reserve. That they will come up with some dovish tones and try and actually create a sense that the United States still needs to get inflation up. So they will try and drill the dollar down by talking it down, by being dovish. I don't know how, because it all works with demand and supply in the market. And at the end, for me personally, in the beginning, people will, like yesterday, sorry, when he was talking, the dollar actually went down, and then it just reversed back up again. So I understand that they try to actually to be dovish for the dollar to get weakened because it helps with the exports and also with competitive advantage. But I don't know for how long will that work. But where you talk a currency down, because normally when people are scared, they run into bonds. They buy up the bonds, and that is where your bond prices go up and your yields are going down. So he was trying actually to literally to push the two, balance the whole conversation yesterday, which I find actually very, very weird, because at some point you get the dollar down, and then the next moment you just see the dollar actually reversing. And then I was like, I'm not going into here making some new trades open, because I'm not sure if the market is actually buying the story of average inflation. But as things simmers down now, I do expect that the bond yield actually to go up, maybe just for today. Dollar is actually maybe going down. I can see actually the reaction on the markets, also on the currency markets, where the euro actually goes up, or British pound, Australian dollar goes up, New Zealand dollar goes up, and also the Canadian dollar actually go up because of the yield curve. Or I would say the 10-year actually going up. But to be honest with you, I actually feeling very, very not comfortable with the market as it is now, because the thing is the virus is not gone. And what I see in Europe also is that they are talking about a second wave, which already started. And also you get this winter period coming. So will the market freak out again and tighten everything up? Especially also in the United States, or I would say the Northern Hemisphere? Will they tighten things up? And then you get a situation again, as the Federal Reserve was mentioning, although we did not mention much yesterday about the COVID story. For me personally, he did mention in the FOMC meeting, or the minutes actually, that the market is determining of the behavior of the virus. So if the virus do spread, which we must not forget, the virus is still there, even though you have interest rates low and people are going to start up businesses, because the problem is what in the FOMC meeting is that people are afraid to reinvest or to take up loans actually to start up, expand a business or start up businesses. That is the whole story. Because who wants to actually to expand his business, knowing that the economies can go again into lockdown? Entrepreneurs are not getting the wrong story. Because then you should have to start economy. One day you are open, the next day someone getting infected, the day with the 3 days, businesses are losing money in that. So the virus is not gone. That is the whole thing. So if the pandemic do have a resurgence, then this stuff of average inflation is basically through the door. So they are basically also what the Federal Reserve did say, or Jerome Powell did say yesterday, is that the market is actually, or the Federal Reserve is actually data dependent. So if things deteriorate, it will just ramp up more. I think personally, the whole thing is out of his hands. The whole thing is totally out of his hands. And for me, he literally said to businesses, hey, I got your back and all of those things. But what about the behavior of the businessmen and women outside? Because if you have, which the politics also, it's also about to get messy in the United States, with Donald Trump and Joe Biden going head to head in November. And already you have protests and all of those things happening. Although that is a norm, your protests before actually a general election in the United States, actually across the world, they have that nonsense going on. But the main thing is actually your pandemic. If there's a resurgence coming in, I don't think businesses will take up loans and start a business or expand their business. Because what is the use? You expand your business and you just you borrow a chunk of money and then the business is going to start. This whole thing is about the behavior of the pandemic and the behavior of the people. Only thing that the Federal Reserve actually said, if things go well, we can look at inflation of obviously higher and keep it there consistency. But that depends on the people's behavior. Will the people reinvest in the United States? Because if the pandemic comes up again and ramp the televisions again, people will not go out. So personally, they are data dependent. They hope the pandemic it can calm down so that people can take advantage of these loans and start a business, create jobs, and so that inflation can go up. Personally, I think, although he's giving the leeway to entrepreneurs, but for me, it was the sense also by saying, hey, listen here, guys, you are on your own. Do what you need to do. I have your back. But if this pandemic still continues, you are dead, basically. So as a trader, it's a very, very, very difficult story. because you have to put your ears on the ground, because you have to also look at the pandemic. If the resurgence is actually happening in Europe or the Northern Hemisphere, and people, which people fear this pandemic, if this thing is going out of hand again, because you must not know the Northern Hemisphere approaching its winter, and which we do expect that COVID will lift up its head again, then we're back to square one. Whether the economy is shutting down or not, people will start to stay at home because there's too much fear injected in the economy. I understand with this whole thing of average inflation, but we must know there's still also a pandemic. I will just take a short break, and then I'll be back with you with my expectations of the markets ahead, and also break it down for you in detail.
The champ is here. 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 The champ.
Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Ted Turner. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as nails. Where does that leave you? I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person.
I don't want to be like Dad.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong.
In 2010, a 1-ounce gold Kruger Rand cost around 8,000 Rand. Today, in 2020, that same 1-ounce gold Kruger Rand costs over 24,500 Rand. That's a 300% increase in price in 10 years. Is it worthwhile for you to invest in gold? It could be. Find out more information. Get educated. Visit us at thinkgold.co.za for more information or to buy your gold.
Do you remember them days where you thought it was absolutely unbearable and you thought you wasn't going to endure that one? Do you know that your survival rate for every last one of them bad days is 100%? Your track record for surviving bad days is 100%. That's a fact. Your track record, you batting 1,000. You'd have survived every funky day you ever had. You survived every hater. You survived all the evictions. You've survived the firings. You survived all the tell you no, we ain't hiring. You survived all the trouble you ever been in. Your survival rate is 100%. 100%.
I'm going to get destroyed. But if I can still be standing on my feet, then life isn't so bad.
Somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. You know what you are. What you're made of. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
I'm going to get destroyed.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The
morning and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and we're doing actually the interest rates that will be low for the next 5 years or maybe beyond, because they're looking for a 2% inflation story. But I think this is actually one hell of a mistake, because for me personally, it comes from the behavior of people. Sorry, that is for me the first thing. If people decide that, listen here, this thing is actually a problem, the pandemic, and they will lock themselves up in the house and keep their children at their homes and all of those things, because obviously there was too much fear injected in this whole COVID story. Whether it's in the United States, I also saw the Trump rally yesterday that people put up cards there that say 180,000 people died of the COVID story. People have all sorts of nonsense story about COVID. And that is the whole thing, because people are fearing it, and it's about the people's behavior. Although the Federal Reserve is throwing a lifeline out by saying, hey, listen here, take up as much credit as you can and drive up inflation and also at the same time create jobs. I found it very, very difficult to believe that this story will actually work, because I mean, the PCE inflation, when I looked at the data yesterday, the PCE inflation, the indicator that they look at, in the last 14 years it was never over 2%. So I actually find it very, very difficult to believe that the market will, I think personally the market will start to realize quickly that, hey, this is absolutely nonsense. Well, for today, the bond yields are going up. Dollar will definitely be down because of the bond yields that goes up, and but it's for me I think the market will start to realize very soon that no, man, this thing doesn't work, because obviously the lockdown had so much damage on the people. The people are losing jobs, and obviously investors are holding back. They are not so willing to push money into the economy. So it's basically you need that confidence from the from the investors also to pump money into the economy, and knowingly that the economies will not be locking up every time there's a scare of the virus. But also you need to understand people are also fearing this whole thing. So it's a very, very confusing story. Very confusing story. And on top of that, you have the Federal Reserve that give out the lifeline. But for how long will it work? So for me personally, I would say the best thing is to keep your ears on the ground and also to have your hedges open. Or if you don't have your hedges open, fine enough. But then you have to make sure that that you have to have. If you don't put the hedges on, it's a difficult story though, because the market can change at any given time, because there's still fears. I don't see that free way of trading. Like maybe in March, where you know that the market is going down because of lockdown. So you could have just buy the dollar, sell the Australian dollar and be happy-go-lucky. I don't see that. What I do see is actually fear, still fear in the people, because obviously you have still the US elections that is still coming. That is also a bloody headache that is still coming. Although I give Trump the benefit of the doubt there that he will win the elections. But on the market itself, this will be a difficult one to crack. A very, very difficult one. But for today, I would say definitely bond yields will extend its gains. The dollar will go down. Gold prices will definitely go up. Maybe there will be a reversal of the oil prices that will go up. Your more riskier currencies, which is your Australian, New Zealand, Canadian, your euro, your British pound, that will definitely go up for the day. But don't feel comfortable by just buying them. You have to keep your eye on them, because things can actually turn around. Because you must remember, for how long will this belief in average inflation go on? I personally think it's one hell of a mistake. I think personally that you can do nothing. Because if investors are not willing to buy into your economy and to create jobs and start businesses, it's game over. Because once fear injected in people, this is like the same with Trump. Trump didn't want to actually to lock down the economy, but the people were in fear of this virus. And then the damages of 180,000 people. And when the people are starting to rise and say, hey, lock down the economy, then what else can he do is but to listen to the people and to lock it up. So that is my thing. It's just the people's behavior. For me, it's the most important thing. Even though the Federal Reserve is talking about average inflation and keeping interest rates as low as possible, try to drive down the dollar by saying that he wants inflation to overshoot. Will it happen? That is the main thing. Will it happen? I find it very, 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 very difficult to believe. But for today, we have to be also data dependent and see what is the behavior of the United States and people across the world, and also about the markets. A person for myself, I know when people are in fear, people will bypass all this average inflation stuff, and they will just go back and buying up bonds, and then you see that bond yield dropping, and then you see the dollar up and commodities are down, and we are back to square one. I'm still in favor of the United States dollar, even though it's getting a bit of a beating. I'm okay with that, because the whole thing of fear is still there. The pandemic is still there. It is not running away. And I know when people are saying, hey, this thing is getting out of hand, presidents across the world will lock it up again. We already saw it in New Zealand when they actually lock up the economy again. In Britain, there was a story also with Boris Johnson when he did not want to lock up the economy, but because the loud sounds of the people, he didn't have much of a choice but to lock it up. So for me personally, yeah, it's a very difficult one. It's a very difficult one. I personally would advise to put up your hedges, and maybe have some more trades open for the dollar, maybe. But I think personally, for me, the fear is still there. The pandemic is still there. COVID is still there. So people, you must have your eyes on the ground, and knowingly that people can still go into their cages, I would say, or lock themselves up in their houses because of the spread of the pandemic. But also on the other side, you have people that are also hungry. People are willing to work, even though the pandemic is still there. The only thing is you just have to be data dependent and put your ears on the ground and listen to the data that's coming out regarding the COVID cases, because the economic growth, or the global growth, is dependent on this pandemic. And if the pandemic deteriorates, which I do expect, because the Northern Hemisphere expecting a winter, then I'm definitely sure that the markets will behave in that manner, that the pandemic is spreading and they need to lock up again, because obviously you don't have a vaccine. You only have some treatments that are available. It's a very, very difficult one for traders. And please, my best option for you is to rather have low volumes, as I've always been saying. Have low volumes. Always have low volumes. Have your hedges there. And literally, for me, go more in favor with the dollar, because things can change. But for today, as I say, yields will go up. Dollar will be down. Gold will definitely go up, and oil will surely make a reversal. The euro, the British pound, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar will definitely go up for today because of the statement of the Federal Reserve yesterday. But I think personally, coming Monday, I think the story will definitely switch. I personally think that because there's still a pandemic. That is it from my side. You guys must have a lovely weekend, and then I see you guys again on Monday with some more information regarding the global economy, stock markets, bonds, currencies, and also about the economy. That's it from my side. Lovely weekend, and then I will see you guys on Monday.
champ is here! The 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 champ.
Rise and shine. 6 a.m. and your hand can't make it to the alarm clock before the voices in your head start telling you that it's too early, too dark, and too cold to get out of bed. Aching muscles lie still in rebellion, pretending not to hear your brain commanding them to move. A legion of voices are shouting their unanimous permission for you to hit the snooze button and go back to dreamland. But you didn't ask their opinion. The voice you've chosen to listen to is one of defiance. A voice that says there was a reason you set that alarm in the first place. So sit up, put your feet on the floor, and don't look back, because we've got work to do. Welcome to the grind. For what is each day but a series of conflicts between the right way and the easy way? 10,000 streams fan out like a river delta before you, each one promising the path of least resistance. Thing is, you're headed upstream. And when you make that choice, when you decide to turn your back on what's comfortable and safe and what some would call common sense, well, that's day one. From there, it only gets tougher. So just make sure this is something you want, because the easy way out will always be there, ready to wash you away. All you have to do is pick up your feet. But you aren't going to, are you? With each step comes the decision to take another. You're on your way now, but this is no time to dwell on how far you've come. You're in a fight against an opponent you can't see, but oh, you can feel him on your heels, can't you? Feel him breathing down your neck. You know what that is? That's you. Your fears, your doubts, and insecurities all lined up like a firing squad, ready to shoot you out of the sky. But don't lose heart. While they're not easily defeated, they are far from invincible. Remember, this is the grind, the battle royale between you and your mind, your body, and the devil on your shoulder who's telling you that this is just a game. This is just a waste of time. Your opponents are stronger than you. Drown out the voice of uncertainty with the sound of your own heartbeat. Burn away your self-doubt with a fire lit beneath you. Remember what we're fighting for, and never forget that momentum is a cruel mistress. She can turn on a dime with the smallest mistake. She is ever searching for the weak place in your armor, that one tiny thing you forgot to prepare for. So as long as the devil is hiding the details, the question remains, is that all you got? Are you sure? And when the answer is yes, when you've done all you can to prepare yourself for battle, then it's time to go forth and boldly face your enemy, the enemy within. Only now you must take that fight into the open, into hostile territory. You're a lion in a field of lions, all hunting the same elusive prey with a desperate starvation that says victory is the only thing that can keep you alive. So believe that voice that says you can run a little faster, and you can throw a little harder, and that for you, the laws of physics are merely a suggestion. Luck is the last dying wish of those who want to believe that winning can happen by accident. Sweat, on the other hand, is for those who know it's a choice. So decide now, because destiny waits for no man. And when your time comes and 1,000 different voices are trying to tell you you're not ready for it, listen instead to that lone voice of dissent. The one that says you are ready, you are prepared. It's all up to you now. So rise and shine.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.